we'll do a short practice for days when you've got a little less time, but you still want to get your body moving and move some energy and connect with your practice and yourself. So let's start with sitting. Be seated in a position that is comfortable for you. Bring your hands down alongside you. Just give yourself a little boost. Push down into the floor or into the padding that you're sitting on. And use the arms to help get a sense of lift in the chest. And then let your eyes close. Bring your hands to your lap. Drop your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Just take a couple deep breaths. And use the breath to help quiet some of the mental activity. And then we'll chant the sound Om one time. Take a breath in. And then release your hands and lift your gaze, let your eyes open. And we'll start our asana practice with standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. In Tadasana, you can stand with your feet right together so the big toes are touching, or you can heel toe the feet a little bit wider apart if that feels more stable for you. It's personal choice, and you can go back and forth between the two. Standing tall, arms long at your sides. Lift the ball of the right foot and stretch the toes forward. Lift the ball of the left foot and stretch the toes forward. Lift the right heel and stretch the heel back. Lift the left heel and stretch the heel back. And be standing on your whole feet, the soles of the feet steady. Let the pubic bone rise just slightly like you're zipping up your pants. Place one palm on your abdomen and just bring that whole abdominal area in slightly toward you. And then we'll move into some half sun salutations. Inhale, extend the arms out and up, reach down to the legs and up through the arms, and exhaling, diving forward, bringing the hands down. You can bend the knees if that's helpful for you. Inhale, extend the chest forward, shoulders back, and exhale, draw it down and in again. Inhale, rise up, reach up, exhale, hands at the heart. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, dive forward, draw it down and in. Inhale, reach the chest forward, shoulders back. And exhale, draw into Uttanasana. Inhale, rise to standing, Urdhva Astasana. Exhale, hands at the heart. 3 more times, go at your own tempo. Connect with your breath. And use the half sun salutations as an opportunity to move energy and release any sense of stagnation that you might be feeling in the body or in your psyche. And when you're done with your final cycle, don't feel rushed, but when you're done with your final cycle, come to standing. again in Tadasana. Connect with a sense of stability. And then Virabhadrasana, Dvitiya, warrior number 2. Bring your feet wide apart on the mat. Turn the right toes out, left toes just slightly in. Inhale, extend the arms out wide, and then bring your left hand to your belly and just gently draw the belly in towards you. Re-extend the arm. Inhale, exhale, bend into the right knee, and then turn your gaze to look out over your right fingertips. Keep the legs steady, keep the shoulders down. And then inhale, straighten the right leg. You can release the arms if you want arm break. Switch the orientation of the feet. Turn the left toes out, right toes in. Inhale the arms out, and again, just for a moment, bring the right hand to your belly and just gently draw the belly near you so it's not forgotten. And re-extend the right arm. Big breath in, and exhale, bending the left knee. And then turn your gaze out over the left fingertips. Shoulders down, stay connected to the breath. Standing poses require physical effort, muscularity, and attention, but we don't need to enter a state of rigidity or aggression in these poses. Keep looking for a sense of circulation and softness, even with the obvious effort and focus. Inhale, straighten up and release the arms. Turn the left toes forward and the right toes out. Parshva Konasana. You can use a block for this behind your right ankle, or you can place the right forearm on the right knee. Inhale the arms out. Again, bring the left hand just for a moment to your belly and draw the belly in and re-extend. Full breath in, exhale, bend in the right knee. Reach out and either forearm on your knee or your hand no block. The tailbone reaches toward the back heel and the pubic bone comes towards the chest, and then extending the left arm overhead. Push through the right arm, move the right shoulder away from the ear. And again, look for a sense of effort coexisting with a sense of settling, sense of naturalness. So effort is not equated with combat or struggle. And then come all the way up. Inhale and rise up and switch the feet. Left toes in, right toes in, left toes out. Big full breath in. Bring the right hand to your belly, just draw the belly slightly toward you. Again, extend out. Full breath in, exhale, bend, and either bring your left arm to your left knee or your left hand to a block. The tailbone points like an arrow towards your back heel. Pubic bone orients toward the chest. Push through the right elbow or through the right hand. Turn your chest a bit away from the floor. And move your left knee toward your left arm. And left shoulder away from the ear. So the left side of the neck feels long and uncrowded. And then extending the right arm overhead. And inhale and press all the way up. Turn the left toes in. Bring the hands down. And we'll do Utthita Trikonasana into Ardha Chandrasana. Half triangle pose into half moon. So you might want to come a little bit over to the left side of your mat, and you probably won't want to block for this. If you use a block for half moon, which a lot of people do, it feels good, gives you a little extra space in the pose. It might be nice to have your block at the ready. Turn the left toes in a little, right toes out. This time both legs stay straight. As though you have your hand on your belly, just draw it gently toward you and inhale the arms out wide. Exhale, shift your hips to the left and bring the right hand down, left arm up. Take a few breaths here in Trikonasana. Shoulders away from the ears, pubic bone slightly toward the navel. And again, use this right arm like you did in Parsvakonasana. Press through it so it's helping to generate lift and you're not simply collapsing into it. Now turn your gaze down, bend your right knee and hop your left foot a little closer, bring your right hand to the block. Place your right hand out in front and a little further to the right. Start to shift all your weight into the right hand and right leg until the left toes are just grazing the floor but have no weight in them. And then push to the right leg, push to the right arm, lift the left leg. And if you feel unstable today, physically or mentally, you can look down, and that's a more stabilizing place for the gaze. And then as you feel confident and able, you can turn the gaze to look forward, the same direction as your chest, or you can turn the gaze to look up, which is probably the most challenging. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the left leg strong, like a river with a strong current. Stay muscularly and energetically engaged in that back leg. And then back to Trikonasana. Bend your right knee. Nice deep bend. Stretch the left leg back until you find the floor. Straighten the right leg back to triangle. Inhale and push up. And then release. And we'll switch sides. So come over to the right side of your mat and turn your left toes out of your block out there in anticipation. Both legs are straight. Inhale out through the arms, and as though you have your hand on your belly, just gently draw in towards yourself. Shift the hips to the right, reach out with the left arm, up with the right arm. Again, just gently press through the left arm, shoulders down. Turn your gaze toward the floor, bend the left knee and hop the right foot in a little closer, bring your left hand to the block or the floor. Now shift your weight so forward into the left hand and left leg that the right toes are just barely touching. And then through the left arm, through the left leg, straighten, lift the right leg. For more stability, you can look down. For a little more challenge, you can start to look forward the same direction as your chest, and then for still more challenge, you can start to look up. Stay connected to the breath. And then back to triangle pose. Put a deep bend in the left leg. Move the chest, fill the chest. And reach the right leg back. Come back into triangle pose. And then inhale and come up. Turn both feet forward and bring your hands to your hips for Prasarita Padottanasana. Like we did standing at the very beginning, stretch the ball of the right foot forward. Lift the left toes and the ball of the foot stretch forward. Lift the right heel and stretch back. And lift the left heel and stretch back. So you have a refreshed felt sense of connectivity. Kneecaps up, pubic bone up. Inhale, chest up. And then exhaling and hinging forward. And be in the first expression of the pose where the spine is not rounded. For some of you, that'll mean hands on your shins. For some of you, you can probably bring your hands to a block of any height. And for some of you, you'll be able to do this, keep your back straight or extended with the hands down. Move the shoulders away from the ears. And as though you have a hand on your belly, just gently draw the belly in toward you. And you can stay here in this expression of the pose where the spine is in extension. It's a good place to be if you're feeling a little more conservative with your low back. Or you can go to the second expression of the pose, which is to walk your hands back so they are in line with your feet. Bend the elbows and bring the top of your head down to the floor or toward the floor. If you don't reach the floor, which is probably more common than not, then you can also put a block under your head. Keep the shoulders moving away from the ears so the length of the neck is emphasized, and also let the shoulder blades move a bit apart so there's breadth in the chest and breadth in the upper back. Keep the kneecaps lifting. And connect with your breathing. Draw the momentum of the belly in toward you, into the depths of you, and down toward the crown of the head. And then if you've gone into the second expression of the pose, keep your hands right where they are. Inhale, extend your chest forward, shoulders back. And then everybody, bring your hands to your hips. Push through the feet. Pull the chest forward and up. And then with two big steps, step the feet together. Come to standing in Tadasana. And then downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Place your hands about shoulder width apart, spread your fingers, feet at least hip width apart. Bend your knees, lift your heels super high, and draw your thigh bones up towards the hip sockets. Draw the belly in. Reach from your armpits to your hands, and reach from your armpits to your outer hips. Move the shoulder blades a little bit away from the spine, away from one another. And then keep reaching the thigh bones up into the hip sockets and see how much you want to re-straighten, re-extend the legs. It may be that you are capable of fully straightening the legs, but when you do that, you lose track of that lifting action in the thighs. And it might be that although you can straighten, it feels better, more alive and more interesting to keep a little bend in the knees. So make decisions based on the feelings you get in the poses rather than on some abstract idea of what's accomplished or more important. And then Mandukasana. Lower the knees, bring the big toes close together. Sit your hips back onto your heels. And lower the head down. I always like to use a block under my forehead so that my trunk is more level with the floor and less sloped. You can do the pose in any way that feels best for you. If you have shoulder fatigue or tension in the shoulders, it may feel better to let the elbows rest. And if you have the energy and it feels okay in your body, it can also feel nice to keep the arms more like downward dog arms, engaged and really active pipelines of energy. Keep moving the shoulder blades gently away from one another. And even with your hands, you can push down and press toward the far end of your mat so that you actively help move the hips back toward the heels. Right, and then release and come up to sitting. If you had something on your head, you can move it aside. And we'll do Makarasana. So come down onto your belly and be face down. Point your toes so the toenails are touching the floor or the sticky mat and the soles of your feet are exposed towards the ceiling. And then interlace your hands behind the back of your head. We'll do it 2 times. It's not a super, I guess it's not really that emotionally rewarding of a pose, but it's an important pose. It helps build strength in our back. So with the feet pointed, press the tops of the feet into the floor until the knees come off the floor. So that's a sign of an activating leg. Activate the tailbone and the buttocks toward the feet and draw the belly in as though you had your hand there on your abdomen. And then inhale, lift the chest forward and up. Lift the head, lift the elbows, move the shoulders away from the ears. It's not a matter of how high up you come. Be content with the small showing. Stay connected to your breath. Really focus on the energy that you can find in the legs, keeping the legs strong. And then release down. Turn your head to one side. Second time we do it, we'll lift the legs also. So we'll lift the chest, the head, the elbows, and then in the back body, we'll pull the legs back and up. So it's not just up, you also really want to think of rending apart as the chest going forward and up and the legs going back and up. So there's a real sense of elongation more than lift. So Makarasana again, hands behind your head, interlace your hands, point the feet, push the tops of the feet in the floor, knees up. Buttocks toward the heels, navel in, shoulders away from the ears. Big full breath in. And then exhale, chest forward and up, legs back and up, lift up. Try to stay long in the back of the neck. And then release down. And turn your head the opposite way of how you had it turned last time. Rest for a moment. And then we'll do Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So bring your forehead to the floor. This time bend your elbows and place your hands alongside your ribs, a little bit below, at the level of the chest or below the chest. Move the shoulders up towards your ears like you're going, I don't know. And then move your shoulder blades a little bit towards each other behind you. And then move your shoulders towards your elbows and really let the shoulders descend. Push the tops of the feet and the foreknees up. Navel in as though you had your hand there. And then inhale, pull your chest forward and up. And at first, really don't use the arms at all. So it's as though your hands were still interlaced behind your head, as though you were still doing Makarasana. And then gently press with the hands and press yourself just a couple inches higher. Shoulders away from the ears, navel in, press a little higher. Shoulders away from the ears, strong legs, navel in, press a little higher. Shoulders down, strong legs, navel in, press a little higher. And then release down. And then turn your toes under, push through the hands and knees, and push yourself up. And come up to sitting. In Dadasana, I usually like to have a folded blanket to sit on, so a little bit of elevation under the hips can go a long way. Both legs out straight in front. Bring your hands out wide and then back behind you. And push down through the hands and lift the chest up. And then just like we did standing, stretch from the arch of the right foot toward the toes, from the arch of the left foot toward the toes, stretch from the arch of the right foot toward the heel, and from the arch of the left foot toward the heel, so the feet are alive. And then for some of you, especially if you still have stiffness and stagnation in your legs today, it can help to really work the feet, to work the end of the chain. And for others of you, that will be a bit of overkill, more energy than necessary. So you can start to keep the energy, but sort of soften the muscularity. You can make decisions for yourself on a moment-by-moment basis on how much you need the muscularity, or how much of the muscularity you need. Sit tall, bring the pit of the throat back. Through asana practice, we're always trying to bring ourselves closer to a state of clarity and balance, and sort of further from a state of stagnation or confusion. And some days it requires a more gross touch, a more physical, muscular touch. Sometimes we need to be a little stronger. And when that's necessary, that's necessary. And other days it's too much. So it requires attention and sensitivity. Really, ideally on a moment-by-moment basis, refining poses so they are in service of ourself. And we'll do Marichasana number 3. So bring your hands behind your right knee and bend your right knee. Hold the shin with both hands and sit up nice and tall. Take full breath in. And then exhaling and twisting to the right. And you can hold your left knee, your right knee with your left hand, or with the crook of your elbow, or you can bring the elbow to the outside of your knee. See what feels best for you. Make body-driven choices. And kind of like we did in the standing poses, you can look the same direction as your chest, or you can start to turn the neck. Stay connected to the breath. As though you have your hand on your belly, just gently draw the belly toward you. Good, and unwinding. Let the right leg extend out straight. Hands behind the left knee, bend the left knee in. Hold the shin, take full breath in, and then exhaling and twisting to the left. The straight leg is not forgotten. Gently draw the right thigh bone toward the pelvis. As though you have your hand on your belly, just gently draw the belly toward you. And then rotating chest, the upper ribs, upper chest. And if you want, and if it feels safe for your neck and your body, you can also start to turn the gaze. And then on an inhale, come back to the center. And bring your hands behind your right knee and bend both knees. Wrap your hands, your elbows around your knees. And you can clasp your wrists or interlace your hands. And push your knees out into your elbow pits and lift your chest. And then release. And then come down onto your back, and you can keep that folded blanket that you were sitting on and lie down on it so that your head has a little support. Sometimes I kind of grab the edge of the blanket and give it a little bit of a curl so it meets the curvature of my neck. Bring your feet wide to the edges of your mat, so with your feet you can feel the edge, and then let your knees knock in toward one another. And bending your elbows as your hands rest on your chest or your belly. The eyes close, let the jaw relax. Let the breath soften and become more natural. Less something that you're trying to do or trying to do in a specific way, and instead just let the breath be as it is, at ease. And then release the hands. Extend the arms out, and just for a moment push into the back of the head and the elbows. Lift the chest a little, and then re-extend the arms and let the palms face up. Bring the feet a little closer, push into the feet gently. Lift the hips a tiny little bit and move the tailbone toward the heels so the low back gets a little bit more length. And one at a time, extend the legs out. Let the feet release apart away from one another and to be in Savasana. And then let your next breath be a little deeper. Move gently with the breath so it's not abrupt, sudden. See if you can carry the flavor or the aftertaste of Savasana with you as you emerge. Bend the elbows and again let the hands rest on your torso. And the legs one at a time. And roll to your side. Take a breath on your side and just appreciate the simplicity of this moment. And then roll a little more to face the floor and use your arms to press yourself up and come up to sit in a position that's comfortable for you. Let your eyes close. Om Shanti. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for staying connected with your practice. And hope to see you again soon.